This is the Depth Mystic Community Podcast, episode 45. And we're going to keep it short today. Some weeks we just don't have as much to say. Our modus operandi is to have one episode every week. And there has to be some way of doing an intermezzo. Because I do feel like such periods of introversion, of not actually having anything to say outwardly, are a critical part of life. And we do need some way to accommodate that. And it's not like I wasn't trying to come up with topics. But it's important to be passionate. I have to feel like the life force is with me. And so this week, it looks like the topic is Intermezzo. What do you think about that, Jungian depth mystic Zach Tolan? Well, I guess the main question is, should we keep it short or go on at length? How important is it that we have a topic? I mean, I think it's pretty important. It gives shape to any given episode. And if we don't have a topic, well, what if the topic is, not having a topic? What do you think of this sort of downtime, these sort of inevitable moments when we just couldn't think of anything depth mystical to be really passionate about? You're still working on your video game, right? Yeah, and that's where most of my energy is going. But the nuances and details of that are extremely hard to convince myself that our podcast audience wants to know about those things, especially in their nascent form. We're basically reinventing the wheel when it comes to our video game right now. Well, what do you think about the fact that you feel called to make this game? What is your current why you're making the game? I think I would have made the game even if I had never become a depth mystic. Or at least I would have been drawn to making video games generally. I just think they're sort of the most creative art form. They're kind of like clay. Like computers are so malleable that you can make any experience you want out of them. I guess the range of possible experiences is higher in a video game than in almost any other art form. There are, of course, limitations. It's not architecture or sculpture. You can't build it out of stone. You can't build it and then enter into it and feel bodily surrounded by it. And if we take literature, for example, video games can include literature. It doesn't always work in the same way for the medium, but there's no aspect of literature, like the actual words, that can't also be in a video game. The same way a film can recite poetry. So if I might once have been attracted to literature in an age before the invention of the computer, I'm not sure how much of what I would have done there is going to be lost, given that video games can produce text that you can read. And music, likewise. Virtually every aspect of music, other than the bodily presence of other people making music, is present in a video game. So it's kind of like the book of Genesis. God took the clay and shaped it into whatever the hell he wanted to shape it into. Of course, if I wanted to be a sculptor, I could literally shape the clay. But for some strange reason, people nowadays want to be video game designers and not sculptors. Probably because the clay is so much more malleable. And moreover, it can be designed to react to the visitor, the person looking at the clay. So you can create a living statue. And in a way, you could say that's what video games are. They are statues that respond to people. And that's obviously a whole dimension of craft. If it's absorbing a lot of our energy, I guess that could explain why the podcast could occasionally be an intermezzo rather than an actual topic. I wouldn't just blame the video game. I think it's natural. If you're doing something every week and you don't have something external that has necessarily stimulated you into a commentary in relation to your philosophy, we're not doing badly. We just need there to be a place for intermezzos. Okay, but where should we take this intermezzo? We don't really have much of a sermon. There's no shortage of stuff we could talk about. But again, it's that life force. I want what we talk about to be coming from the life force, and for whatever reason, this week, the life force has withdrawn. There's definitely a correlation between having something to say and the episode being good. You don't think we could just talk back and forth about any old thing? You don't think the episode will be good? Well, that would be a community episode. But it wouldn't be a very depth mystic. I mean, depth mystics like yang. They like sharpness in addition to yin, which is underlying truth. I don't think we should just talk. Make it all just a bunch of yin. Maybe we can start a tradition of intermezzos where we know it's an intermezzo, but we do try to make it interesting somehow. I can roll with that. This is going to happen from time to time, and it might be nice if there was some kind of rolling joke. Our commitment is to a weekly thing, which we don't want to sacrifice. And so I guess when we have a yin episode, we're maintaining our loyalty to the life force, which says we don't force it. The life force forces it. So if we have a yin episode, no topic, nothing to talk about, just circumstances under which the best we can do is a little back and forth banter. I mean, it's not like I'm happy about not having the life force show up for us. But in a way, I am happy about it because it's a demonstration of the nature of the life force. You can't have all yang and no yin. We need some way of balancing out this weekly effort. There might be an important divine purpose in this absence, a meaning to this withdrawal. But the result is, and that's sort of an uncomfortable situation, that apparently we are meant to tell the podcast listener who got this far, we had to do this episode. Well, that's good enough for me. That's episode 45. We will see you next week.